Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, Childhood Finds. Thank you for joining me for a weekly What Sold video. This video, it's a very average video. I have a couple decent sales to share with you, but it's mostly just the bread and butter items. And when I say bread and butter for me, that typically means between $10 to $25 or so. What is your bread and butter? And it's items, those are essentially just items that you can regularly find for low cost and you can sell for a profit. What is your bread and butter range? Mine's 10 to 25, and sales again are just not really impressive right now, but I'm continuing to keep up with my listing. So my listing goal is typically it's 70 to 80 items or more a week, and it's a $2,000 listed value. And the most important part of the goal for me is the listed value. I don't really mind if I don't hit all the items, because that means if I don't hit that I'm listing good quality items. So I like to always hit my 2,000. If I don't hit my listing item goal, that's fine. I do try to do more than that in a week, but I'm just not finding quite the inventory I need to ramp it up even more. If I had the ability to get more of that inventory, then I would go to probably 2,500 or more a week that I would want to list. But that at least gives me 8,000 in listed value every month, and that will hopefully prepare me for fourth quarter. What are your listing goals as a reseller if you're a reseller? And that can be whether you're part-time, full-time, etc. When I was part-time, my goal was I would do 1 to 2 a day during the week when I was working that I would list, and then I would do probably 5 to 10 or more during the weekends. So that was kind of my goal. I had a part-time and a full-time job, so I just didn't have a ton of extra time, so I really couldn't do much more than that. But that's what I was doing when I was working full-time and part-time. And I have 25 listings to share with you. Let's go ahead and get started with them. I did also want to quickly share, for those of you that have been following my channel and following about my dog that had surgery, his masses that we had sent off officially came back benign. We are so grateful, because all of us in the vet were very worried that they were going to be malignant tumors, but they are benign, and he is now out of stitches and healing. So really excited for that. Also just wanted to share, I likely will not get a second video out this week because I went camping this previous weekend and we're going this next weekend, and we're taking the dogs and we're going for 2 or 3 days. So I probably will not get another video out, just because I want to make sure that I get as much eBay stuff done as I can before we leave. So this first one here, it's a 1991 G.I. Joe, a raw dusty sandstorm coyote part accessory. I took a best offer of $12.50 on this. It came out of my action figure tote that I got, and it was just so tiny. And this is why Google Lens is great, because otherwise I would have not known what this was. And I have a second one of these listed. This is the Boyd's Bears Isabel Dickens Best Dress Series with tag. It sold for a best offer of $12. I paid $1 for this at a yard sale. It's been listed for probably a year or two. It was relatively small though, so not a terrible sale. It's not like the other ones that I showed in my Boyd's Bears video that I will link in the description, but it's a sale. And that's what most Boyd's Bears are. Most Boyd's Bears are slow sellers. And this one here is an SC Johnson Paste Wax Original Formula Tin Shine Protection. My partner picked these up at an estate sale. I showed them in a recent haul video. We got them for $3 a piece, and we made the agreement that he would keep 7 that were partially used open, and I would keep 6 of them that were new. This one sold in a day for $50, and I think I might hold on to the other ones for a little bit, maybe a little closer to Christmas, and see if I can get a little more for them. And that has to go with discontinued products. That's why it's selling, is it was discontinued. And this is a Dolly Parton 9 to 5 and Odd Jobs 1980 LP vinyl. Sold for $10.16 on my sale. I paid 50 cents for it at a yard sale. This I would probably not do again. I purchased this for I think $5 or so. It's a 90s Dinosaur Telephone T-Rex Roaring Telemania phone. It was working. It sold for the sale price of $33.96, but because of its dimensions, it just wasn't quite worth selling after I had to pack it. I had to buy a box for it. It was a lot of effort for it, and it took a long time to sell. And I do believe it took a long time to sell because of the shipping cost. I really need to start adding UPS more frequently onto my items, so I'm doing that on new big items that I'm listing. I am doing UPS now and adding that as an option, but the big items, it just costs so much to ship them. So this I probably wouldn't do again, but it was really cool and it worked. This I picked up at a yard sale probably about 3 or 4 months ago. It's a Lamac Spooky Town Born to Be Wicked Halloween Witch, and it sold for the sale price of $16.96. And it sold because we're going into August, so we just got less than 2 months, or we have 2.5 months roughly to go until Halloween, so people are going to start ramping up on Halloween items. And Lamac Spooky Town is something you pretty much always want to pick up if it's cheap. This is Sneaky Pete brown leather eagle belt holster for small handgun. It was about 4.25 inches by 6.5. That is important to include so they know if it would work for them. It sold for the sale price of $38.21. I paid a few dollars for this at an estate sale. It took maybe a month or 2 to sell. And I didn't recognize it. This SP is what you're looking for, Sneaky Pete. This is an Ikea Bunny Rabbit Plush Gozig Cannon Sewn Eyes Lovey Plush Doll. Oh, I did plush twice. I hate when I do that. But it sold for a best offer of $17, and I paid $1 for this at a thrift store. It sold very quickly. It sold within a day or 2, and I like to pick up the Ikea. Usually these eyes are a sign it's Ikea, as well as if they still have tags. These long, crazy tags are always on Ikea, and of course it says Ikea. But a lot of times people do cut off the tags, so you might want to use Google Lens if you see those embroidered eyes. This is a brass bunny rabbit family brass figurine. I did brass twice there too. But I don't like to waste space in my titles, is why I don't like to do that. It doesn't benefit me to say brass twice. I could have found another keyword to put in there. It's a figurine 6-inch paperweight animal decor vintage. It sold for a full asking price of $33.96. I paid a few dollars for this at an estate sale. And it was relatively, it was heavy, it was dense, but it sold for a good price. This I'm including to tell you not to buy these. It's a puppy surprise plush lot, 2 puppies and 2 mamas, mom stuffed dogs, pink, read description. Don't buy these. This took multiple years to sell. If you buy them, just buy the little guys down here. Those you can sell in a lot, and they're very small, easy to ship, and low shipping cost. When you start to include these here, it's just too expensive. The vintage puppy surprise absolutely are worth it, but the newer ones, don't do it. Just don't do it. This took forever to sell, and I think it didn't sell for $8.46. I don't know why it's showing that. It sold $7.78 or something. So not worth it. Because I think I paid $1 or more each for these because they each had a puppy. Don't do it. This is a 1997 Marvel Comics X-Men Cyclops Monster Armor. This I sold, I believe for a best offer, it was $13.75 roughly, and it came out of my action figure tote, so didn't take very long to sell. And this is an original World War II blood chit type 4, 7 languages, and this sold for a best offer of $111. This came with my pin that I sold for $1,000, and it was essentially just this was on that pilot, and if they crashed into enemy territory, it's essentially telling them that, hey, keep me alive and take me home, or something along those lines. Then there will be an unspecified reward, is essentially what the blood chit would do. And it is cool. It's a really amazing piece of history to find it with that pin I sold. So really cool to have for a little bit of time. This is a Folkmanis Black Labrador plush or puppy dog full body hand puppet. I absolutely pick up folk monis anytime I find it for cheap. I just really enjoy them. They're very cute and they're nice quality. This sold for best offer of $16, and I believe I paid $1.99 for this at a thrift store, and it sold, I think, in a month or two. This I picked up at a yard sale for around 50 cents. It's a porcelain table lighter with rhinestones, made in Japan, vintage, untested. And it sold for the sale price of $24.61. And it was very petite. It was about 3 or 4 inches. This is Tiny Tagalongs, Mommy, Babies, Bunnies, 1995. It was Hopsy Mopsy Rabbit Plush. And I have 3 here in the title because I had 3 of these. So I tend to put something in the title to differentiate them so eBay doesn't think I'm listing the same item twice, and as well as helps me when I'm cross-listing, so I know which one to end. This sold for, I believe it was a $15.26 or $14 something, right around that range, but I paid like a quarter or 50 cents for this at a yard sale, and they're so tiny. They fit in a 4x4 box. This I picked up at a yard sale. It sold for $11.69, I believe, and I paid a few dollars for it. Not a great buy, but it sold. It's a solid brass dolphin figure, 8.5-inch animal home beach ocean decor, and I pick up brass. I can't help but pick up brass, but the dolphins don't seem to sell really well that I found, but made a little bit of money. This I picked up at an estate sale a few weeks ago, and I've talked about corduroy being something to look at for on hats. This is a Mount Rose Ski Resort, Lake Tahoe, California, blue corduroy adjustable hat, and it sold for a best offer of $35, paid $1 for it. This is a Reed & Barton Sumner stainless flatware dinner knives, lot of 6, and I'm including this because I sold, I think, 4 or so other lots to another buyer last video, and then they were happy with what they purchased when it got to them, so they came back and bought another lot of this flatware. So it was great to have the repeat buyer doing that, and it sold for the $18.95. This is Florenza Gold Tone Monkey See Speak Hear No Evil, and it was a letter card holder. I am so surprised this took so long to sell. I don't believe I had it priced very wrong. I paid $1 for this at a thrift store a year and a half or 2 ago, and it sold for $33.96. I don't mind it took that long because it was very small. I'm just surprised it did. So that's why I don't really purge my inventory a ton, because I mean, this is a $34 item that's like this big. And yes, it took a year and a half plus to sell, but it sold and I made good money on it. I completely understand people that purge their inventories, but I don't mind if items take a while. Are you a person that purges your inventory? Do you go through, say, every 6 months to a year and purge things that have been listed a long time? I have only done it a couple times, and it's always coincided with me moving, because I just go, I don't want to look at this anymore and I don't want to pack it. That's why I've purged. If I hadn't have moved, I probably would have done very little purging, even though I should. It's good to purge so you don't have a lot of like dead inventory in your store, but it is what it is. I might purge next year after Christmas season and organize a little better. This is Monster High Inner Monster Scared Silly Add-on Pack 2014, damaged package. I paid $2 at a yard sale, sold for the sale price of $16.96. This I got at a yard sale for free. They threw it in with the other model kits that I was buying, and I took a best offer of $18.95 for it. It's an Airfix MBB BO scale helicopter, and it was brand new, and it was small. This was a small kit. It was like, I fit it in, I believe, an 8x4 box. This is a Western Electric rotary dial telephone with E1 handset and ringer box. I just showed this in a recent haul video. I took a best offer of $125. I did go back and forth with the buyer because I wasn't really willing to give a ton on the price, because this was in exceptionally good condition. There was some fraying on the cord, but other than that, it was in better condition than pretty much any listed. I probably could have got full asking or more if I'd waited longer, but it's on to its new home, and I got to enjoy it for a little bit. And this, I knew about this phone because I did my you know, old phones that are worth money video. So the research video has really paid off for me lately. This is a Daum, France signed clear crystal angelfish art glass. It was 3.5 inches. It took quite a while to sell, but I believe my mother-in-law picked this up and we only paid 50 cents for it at a yard sale, and it was small, probably a year at least to sell, but it sold for 23 on a best offer. This I picked up. It wasn't a great pickup. I think I paid $2 for this. It's an Elrine vinyl flannel back tablecloth, Hampton Beach summer theme. It sold for best offer of 10. I mean, not a great profit, but it was easy to list and ship. So I don't really mind making $4 or $5 on an item that I took 2 pictures of it, put it into the listing, and then I put it in a poly mailer to ship it. So it really wasn't a bad sale. It was something I'd probably still do again. I would hope for a little more than 10, but this is Population Ecology of Raptors by Ian Newton, 1979. This sold for a best offer of 23. It's an old listing because I offered free shipping, and I just never changed that on my media that has been listed a long time. So it's been a couple years probably this has been listed, but it sold. I remember paying $2.99 at the Goodwill for it. Not a great buy, but I made money. And then these next 2 listings are Stanley Roberts Arosa salad forks with wood inlay, lot of 6, and then this one, that the dinner forks with wood inlay, and that was a lot of 7. Those 2 lots together sold for $26, and I combined the shipping for the buyer, and that was a decent sale for that. Probably a couple bucks into the 2 lots. I'm totally fine with that. I picked these up at an estate sale, and this is another thing where there weren't a lot of solds for parting out the set, but mine still sold, so it was worth it. And that's all I'm gonna be sharing with you guys today. If I have time, I'll do another video this week, but otherwise, join me next week. Towards this end of March, towards the end of this month, August, I will start trying to get back into the swing of 2 videos a week, because we won't really be doing as much because summer's coming in to an end and we won't be camping anymore after this next weekend, I believe. At least none that are planned, so I'll have a little more time for YouTube. And that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one.